Fellas, this is going to be a long video, but I guarantee if you watch the whole thing, I go through setting and upgrading the programming in all of my Spektrum ESCs from the 100 amp ESC to the 120 amp ESC to the 150 amp ESC. I found that most people are having a problem with the 120 amp ESC that came in their 4S Mojaves. I think the Creighton and also the Notorious. I'm not sure about those models, but anyway, with using this Spektrum V2 programmer card. So at the end of this video, and what I'm about to do right now is to connect the new updated programmer box to my ESC without the computer, now that I've updated this, and show you the settings that you get with the update versus the one that you got from the factory. Let me disconnect this fan. It's super loud. I left the fan connected. I just want to hurry up and do this. So I'm going to go over here to firmware upgrade. And first, I can see here what firmware version I have. B1.32. And the updated version available is B5.03. So let's see what we get when we upgrade this. This is the 120 amp ESC that came, well, no, this is the replacement 120 amp ESC that replaced the 120 amp ESC that came in my Arma Mojave. So let's keep going. When I hit upgrade, the fan quieted down a little bit, so I'm coming back. But here, the progress is working. We're gonna see what we get after the upgrade is done. I disconnected the fan. It's obnoxious, but that's how I like it. But I'm curious to see, while it's working, what additional options that I have with this upgrade, this B5.03, and then I'm curious to see what firmware version was on the original ESC that came on my Arma Mojave 4S, since that vehicle is so new. I also am planning on checking. Ooh, it finished. I also am planning on. Ooh, and the ESC just restarted. Okay, I have some other plans that I'm gonna do for my 3S ESCs, the 100 amps. So stay tuned for that. Yes, check it out, guys. Now we have low voltage cutoff. You see it right there? And it's set to 3.4 volt to cell. So I guess that's what what comes with the upgrade. I'm gonna see if I can lower that down a little bit. So let's see. Yes, I could go as low as 3.2. So we're gonna do that for the purposes of our speed runs. And I'll tell you my theory as to why I think that Spektrum and Horizon had this set this way. I also have, see, I don't need drag brake, punch. It's default. So when you see these asterisks here, this is the default values. And so, for instance, I had my ESC set to punch level 1 for those speed runs, but now I have options to go all the way up to punch level 9. So this gave me similar software to the 150 amp ESC that I'm running now, the 6S ESC that I'm running now in my Mojave. So this is good news. Let me continue doing this and then I'll come back for some more. Now, you don't need it, but if you go over to here, advanced, you can actually change your battery from LiPo to nickel metal hydride. So you normally, we used to do that when we wanted to get more voltage out of our batteries, but now that we can adjust the LVC, there's really no need for that. BEC voltage I set back down to, well, it's default here at 6. I'm going to leave it at 6. I noticed that when I change it up to 7.4, the steering servo, the stock servo that came in these Vendettas, is pretty fast. But going in a straight line, I don't need that to be so fast, but because it's going to suck more juice. And I noticed the fan actually spins even faster when you turn up this BEC voltage. So, and motor rotation on the 150 amp ESC, I might have to do that because the colors to the wires that go from the ESC to the motor on my Mojave, they're different, and so they had to be swapped around to get the correct rotation. But now I could do that using this program car, so that's pretty cool. And the timing, I think for speed runs, you might want to jack your timing all the way up. I'll have to check, but you can go from 0 degrees all the way up to 26.5. This probably is not coming through clearly because I'm literally sitting here. This is my laptop on my lap with my vehicle right next to me, and this thing still says connecting to PC, but you can't see that. But I think this is going to be really helpful. So I'm going to play around with some more stuff, and then I'll do a wrap up after this. So after I have everything set preliminarily where I want it, in both the basic and the advanced screens, I'm going to go down here. So I went back to basic just to make sure I have everything set. And once I'm done with all of that, I'm going to click, what is it? Send settings to ESC. Apply. Boom. It's okay. Okay. And there you have it. Just so you know, at the end of all of this, I didn't want to just rip the wire out. I think you can, but I clicked down here where it says busy and then connect. Before it said connect, it said disconnect, and I clicked that and the ESC restarted. So I'm guessing that saved all the settings. So now I'm going to disconnect the wire. I'm going to try. The next thing I'm going to do is see if using the beep method on this ESC is going to actually allow me to change any of those things. And then I'm going to try on my 100 amp ESCs and see what we could get out of that. Okay, this is my infraction now, and let me this fan is easier to disconnect, so let me just disconnect this fan real quick. Okay, fan disconnected. I've got the BEC plugged in to the what do you call this, programmer, into the ESC. Let me turn the ESC on. ESC is on. Okay, now we go back to the program, and let's go to connect down here. Boom, it's connecting. And let's go to about. Let's go to device, ESC speed controller, basic, firmware upgrade. I'm not holding this camera right. This has the B1.32. I don't remember what was on the last one, but this is the original ESC out of my Mojave 4S. So let's go ahead and upgrade this one. Hit upgrade, and it's working. I'll come back when it's done. In the interim, we already know what stock settings that this had available, the 120 amp Spektrum ESC. So now we just finished seeing the additional options that you have with this upgrade. And so I need to do some real world testing. So actually taking these things out and running them. Also, I want to do the beep test. And then I want to see if I could, using the programmer, go through the menus and change these settings. And hopefully I won't need to do this connected to my laptop anymore now that I've upgraded the firmware on the ESCs and on the program card. And so the next step I'm going to try this with is, again, the 100 amp ESCs. I have two of them here, the ones that came out of both Vendettas, and see if that works. And then I'm going to do the one that's in my Sentinel. I'm going to just do everything, all of my ESCs, get them upgraded. And this little thing is cool because you can use it to test your batteries too. And I'll talk a little bit about that later. I had some discrepancies with the battery voltage meter on my charger versus those little, where do I have it? Those little battery testers, the battery alarm checkers. And they give me, especially when you go above 3S, you go to 4. Oh, there it goes. Okay. All right, so let's see. Updated successfully. Let's see what we got. Boom. Same thing. So I'll just skip through this. Well, let me just show you. So basic, we got 3.4 for the LVC. I'm going to put that down to 3.2. Punch level, I'm going to make this 5. This is my, well, I'm going to make it 1. I could always change that later so I don't smoke tires. Max brake force, I like my braking to be a little higher at, say, 75%. And reverse 25, that's fine. Neutral range. Neutral range, for those of you who don't know, that's on the trigger on your radio. The distance between, say, brake or reverse and neutral, and then forward or drive. So the distance in the movement of your finger, the smaller this number or percentage, the quicker it'll jump to the next level. So from neutral to reverse, your finger would move longer, travel before the car starts to reverse, and the same thing for going forward, the higher this number, if that makes any sense. Okay, so now we'll go over to advanced. We don't want any drag brake because this is not a crawler. Go to advanced timing. I'm going to leave that at 22.5. Motor rotation is fine. BC S6 is fine. LiPo is fine. And firmware upgrade, we just finished doing that. So now we're at B 5.03. And I'm going to send settings to ESC. That's good. So now I'm going to disconnect, and this is what I missed before. Let's see. There we go. So that's confirming my settings. And now I can unplug this. This is flashing because I don't have my transmitter on. So I'm just going to turn off the ESC, and I'm going to remove this plug back in that weak fan, and we should be good. Okay, so let's do the Sentin. Okay, so we got the Sentin all connected up here. Let's turn it on. I have the fan disconnected. Okay, so Sentin is connected. And this thing just did something. So let's go to, let's see. ESC, speed controller. Okay, so it's connected. All right. So start mode, level V. That's different. Level V, I'm guessing that's 5 Roman numerals. This is different. So I'm gonna go to firmware upgrade. Let's check the firmware. This has a B 1.27, and there's a 5.02 available. So we're gonna hit upgrade. Now this is the 100 amp ESC that came out of my first Vendetta, not the one that I changed into the infraction. So this is the very first one. So we can see, if those numbers are any indication, these versions are far in between. Maybe there was a bunch of versions. And when I was looking at Chris with a C, actually he's on my screen right now as a refresher course. He has an awesome video. He does it more, I guess, technically than I'm doing right now. I'm mainly just trying to get this done. But I thought I'd bring you guys along. But go check out Chris with a C's video. I'll link it in my description if he's okay with that. And he goes through it step by step from upgrading the firmware on this programmer card to, I don't know, can you call this a card? We're going to call it a programmer box. Yeah, I think he called it a programmer box on here. But anyway, we're going to just do this for all the, I have 7 Firmware ESCs here. So one is brand new in the box. I might be giving that one away soon. Speaking of giveaways, You only have a few days left, so go check out that video and give me your entries. I think I have about 26 entries so far. And if you check the community tab, I have a picture with all the names of everybody who's been entered so far. So status is going. So this is maybe a good way to spend this waiting time. But anyway, I'm really interested, and this is, I bought this programmer for, and there it goes. All right, so let's see what we get extra. Okay. Ooh, LVC also. 3.2. I guess our complaining has paid off. And now, look, I have punch level all the way up to 9 on this. Oh man, this Sentin is gonna be bananas right now with a 100 amp ESC. This is monumental that we have this level of adjustments. And you used to have to get the 130 amp ESC to get all of these options, and now you get all of them with this upgrade, firmware upgrade. So this $30 program box is worth it, especially if you have a bunch of these Spektrum ESCs. So let me get back to what I'm doing here. Brake force, I'll leave it there. Neutral range, let's go to advanced. LiPo, BEC. Everything here is good. Can we change it to? Yep. I think everything is the same when you do this firmware upgrade. So, all right. So let's send settings to ESC. Apply. And disconnect. And it should. Yep. Right on cue. All right, let's go to the Mojave now with the 150 amp ESC. Yo, I'm happy. Okay, we got the Mojave here now. This is the 150 amp ESC 6S, and this one's a little bit more tricky because to get down in there the way I have it, but we got it plugged in, so let's go. Turn it on. I got the fans disconnected because the fan is actually connected through the fan port. Actually, you can see it here. So I have a split. It's got a Y connection there. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's click connect. And firmware upgrade. This has got the B2.15 and a B501 is available. So let's upgrade this. And what can I talk about now? Well, this thing is already performing bananas, but like I said, this was a B2, and now this is a B5 version. So who knows how old this ESC is, but this is good news for folks that are buying secondhand ESCs. And like, for instance, I got this one from Jenny's, and it was, they say it was taken out of a brand new Creighton 6S, but who knows how old those vehicles were. Even my brand new Mojave, you see that they shipped it out with an ESC that needed an update. So and I doubt that Spektrum in Horizon is doing this for sales of this $30 box. I mean, that's crazy. But the fact that it's available, and with this $30 box and a PC or laptop, you can do this. I almost was trying to do this with my phone, the one I'm filming with now. I do everything with my phone, and I borrowed this laptop from my son. He actually gave it to me. But anyway, I'm just happy that I'm able to do these upgrades, and it'll be interesting to see how these vehicles actually react out in real world conditions when I'm driving them. And so the next thing I'm going to do, once I upgrade this one, that'll be all my vehicles with the ESCs in them. I'm going to disconnect all of this and just connect the program box. You can't see, you just see the light on that screen. So we're update. Oh, and there it goes. Scared the crap out of me. Okay, so I don't know if at this point you have to send to ESC. I'm gonna just do it anyway. So let's see. Oh, first I have to apply settings. So LVC is at 3.4 now. It's crazy that it would be, there's an option for it to be as high as 3.7. I'm thinking it was that high before. So I'm just gonna put this to 3.2. And you know, I'll keep an eye on this. We don't want to run down our LiPo batteries. Oh, we're entertaining today, so that's my entertainment. So I'm gonna have to cut this short. Hello. Be back later. So here we're gonna take the programmer box out of here. We're gonna take the programmer box out of the box. It comes with the cable that you need to connect to your computer to upgrade it, and a little booklet with instructions. You wanna connect this to your box. There's the negative, so negative wire is black, goes in there. Then you wanna connect this to your ESC through the fan port. So just pull out gently the fan. Notice the orientation of the plug on the fan if you can't see the symbols of which way to connect it. So the pins are facing this way to forward of the car. So that lets me know that the negative goes on the outside. So the negative wire goes on the passenger side. Let's get this plugged in. And I'm so excited to do this. I'm not doing this for any clicks or views or anything. I'm just happy to finally get full potential out of my ESC. So now it's plugged in. Battery's plugged in. You don't need to turn on the transmitter, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's good practice. And then turn on your ESC. This box should power up. Tells you the version that's on the box, right? Then if you hit, I'm going to get in closer. Okay, I got all my manuals here, and this is the one that came with the Mojave 4S. So since this is the replacement ESC that Horizon sent me for the Mojave 4S, okay, here's the options that it came with. And you can see here, low voltage, cutoff threshold. That's what we're looking for, right? Stop that LVC. It just says LiPo. So you got 6 sections or 6 levels of adjustment here from factory. See, it says straight from the factory. But now, with the program card, I'm just gonna take the, look, I have my tripod set up still with this. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do it. Okay, here, now you can see better. All right, so if we hit the select button here, connecting ESC, this is the latest software version. And now look, it tells you not only the numbers, but it tells you what it does. So setting 1, running mode. The default has the asterisk 2 for forward reverse brake. Then we go the next one, drag brake, 0. Okay, my TX is telling me. Let's just cut it off. Okay, we don't need that for this. Cutoff voltage, this is what we want. Number 3 is LVC. And so now, if we go to edit, see the button there, edit. We can go to 3.3, 2, 3.4 is 3, that's the default. 5, 6, 7. So we want that at 3.2, the lowest, right? So we don't hit LVC. Then you want to hit save. Boom. Then you go to the next thing. Punch. I have this on punch level 1. From factory, we had punch level up to 5. On this, with the firmware update, we have all the way to punch level 9. Max brake, max reverse, neutral range, timing. This is a new one. And so now we can change the timing from 0 up to the factory default of 7, and then we could go even one more to 26.25 degrees, which for this, this is the Vendetta, so I'm gonna jack that all the way up to 26.5. Maybe it'll help me hit that 100. Maybe it'll help me hit that 100 miles an hour. And then the motor rotation, sometimes when you switch out an ESC, especially if you buy one from like Jenny's or whatever, or you power up, like I did in the case of the Mojave 4S, I have the 6S ESC in there. The motor rotation here is counterclockwise. You might have to change that, so you could do that here. BEC voltage is at 6, which is fine. Battery mode, and then restore default. So the one other thing you got in this with battery mode is that you can go from LiPo to nickel metal hydride. So obviously we're gonna leave that on LiPo, and then we can restore defaults. Let's restore defaults and see what was in here. Actually, I don't want to restore. I want it the way it is. So I'm just going to leave it like this. But hit save. Boom. And we're done. And so at this point, I'm just going to turn off the ESC. Turns off the box. And I'm just going to remove this cable. Plug back in my fan. And we're all set to go. Hey, this is like a huge weight off of my chest, especially, you know, trying to get the most out of my batteries and the most out of my ESC. This will help tremendously, and especially if you're buying secondhand ESCs, you can know that you have the latest firmware available. And when Horizon does, or Spektrum does come out with new firmware, where you can upgrade this box and then in turn update your ESCs. And so as a disclaimer, I'm going to tell people, don't go around changing your low voltage cutoff to 3.2, the lowest, and then smoking your batteries off and causing a fire. I don't want that to happen. But this is for those of us who know what we're doing, and we want to get the most out of our rigs. So this has been Bris. If you found this helpful, the best way to say thanks is to leave me a comment and to hit that subscribe button. You don't even have to watch any of my other content, but hit that subscribe button. Lets me know you care. And I'll catch you on the next one.